Hi everyone, and welcome to another video with the Casio CTX 3000. And in this video I'm going to be demonstrating how to connect it up to your computer, and that's what I've done. I've taken the USB cable from the host output here and then just plugged the other end directly into the computer. I'm using a piece of software called Reason, but it could be any DAW program like GarageBand or Cubase or Logic to give you a demonstration of what you're able to do with a keyboard. So in the first example, I'm just showing you connecting it into the computer and using it as a mother keyboard or a master keyboard to trigger sounds that are generated by the computer itself. So on Reason, they use racks of instruments and devices, and I've set up a track here. With a kind of synth sound, string synth sound here. And I've set up one track on Reason. And you're not hearing any sounds from the Casio, I'm just purely playing the keys on the keyboard and triggering the sounds on Reason. And I've set up another track below that with a kind of bass sound. And what I can do is I can record into Reason a little performance. So let's try that. I'm going to start the record. You'll hear a click coming from the computer, not from the Casio. The Casio is not producing any tones at the moment. So this is purely using the Casio as a master keyboard to play in notes and control the sounds that are happening from the computer. So I've recorded a little loop line of 2 bars here. So let's have a listen back to that. And I could edit that and do another recording, but let's put another layer below that. Let's put a little bass figure to go with that. So again, start the record. And again, just stop that and have a little listen. And so you can just carry on doing that, building up tracks just like we were doing in another video, recording tracks in the song bank. But obviously you've got much more flexibility on screen and choosing sounds and triggering those, just purely using the Casio as a keyboard controller. The other thing you can do is set up so that the computer is I'm going to record into the computer and send data back using sounds from the keyboard itself. So on Reason, I've set up a track here that I've called Casio MIDI 1. And you'll need to look for Casio USB MIDI ports wherever they are situated in the program that you're using, and I can send out a program number. So I've got this set to sort of electric piano. The Casio only uses the sort of general MIDI list of tones, but that's good enough for most sort of situations. And I've got this also set to MIDI channel 1. So now I could record a layer of Casio alongside the VST instruments within Reason. So you can hear that layer from the Casio now. Let's just solo it on its own. Notice that I haven't had to do anything on the front panel of the Casio. Reason is sending the patch data, patch information and the note data back to the Casio. You don't need to touch anything here at all, go into songbank mode or anything like that. So we could carry on. We'll have another Casio layer. Let's put this sort of muted trumpet alongside the tracks we've already got. And that's sort of slowly building on the track. We could add a third layer, and on each of these tracks, make sure that you change the MIDI channel to the one you want to. You've got 16 MIDI channels. You can send out 16 separate MIDI channels and separate program patches. So let's add another one. Got this sort of distorted guitar. Let's add that over the top. I'll put a little bit of pitch bend in so you can see how that's kind of controlling the pitch bend data as well. And you might be able to see as well on Reason, the graphic for this channel up here in this corner here, the pitch bend wheel is actually moving up and down as well. So let's give this a go. And as I said, you can edit that. So in Reason, I can go in and change any of these notes. Wasn't particularly happy with one of those notes. Let's just have a listen. That one there. Let's move it up to C sharp. See if that sounds any better. Also, this note comes in slightly late, so let's bring this back a bit. Start point I can change. Make sure it starts on the second beat. So obviously this is just sort of the beginnings of a song, and you can go much further than this. You could add more VST instruments from within your DAW. You could add more MIDI layers from the Casio as well. Another thing you can do, of course, is mix this all together. And I could record the audio from the Casio and create an audio track. So let's try that. So I've created an audio track. We can make it a stereo or a mono input, doesn't really matter for this example. You can see the LEDs bouncing back and forth. So from my voice, so you can see a signal coming in. Let's just solo these tracks, these Casio tracks on their own, and play the 2 bars. So that's what we're going to record into this audio track, is that audio information. I'm just going to unloop so we just get the 2 bars and it doesn't kind of re-record over itself. So here we go, we can just press record. And now press stop. You can obviously change the signal level. It looks a little bit low on here, but you can normalize that information like that. And I better just bring the volume down before we play it back. So now we'll listen just to the recording that we've made of the Casio tracks. This is just the audio. can hear also we should have maybe taken out the click as well. And now these MIDI tracks are kind of redundant. We've created our audio track and we can manipulate that, and we can add effects and that sort of thing, and then bounce this all down into a single recording, create maybe a backing track that we could then put on a device, on a mobile phone, and then play it back into the Casio, and we've got our little backing track ready for our performance. So anyway, I hope that's it's a sort of short, brief introduction, but it gets you thinking about how you can use even a keyboard such as this, which is relatively cheap and cheerful, but it's got a lot of potential as well. So thanks for watching.